Hello friends, hopes that he falls into a coma and wakes up in a retirement home when Pudge doesn't have a sub 40% win rate here, and in this video, we're going to be talking about the biggest winners of patch 7.27. Recently, I've been pubbing a lot, I've been watching a ton of games, and I've been talking to some friends who are in the pro scene, all with hopes to aggregate as many ideas as possible, I should say good ideas as possible, on the most important changes in 7.27. So I've done that, I've done the research, and now I'm coming back and I have a video on what are the most broken, slimiest, cheesiest, probably going to get nerfed soon strategies in 7.27. So with that being said, let's get right into it. Arguably the most overpowered item in the patch is actually not Silver Edge, and it's not Blade Mail, but Orchid Malevolence. The one problem with this item previously is that smart enemies would usually build Yule Scepter, Manta Styles, and BKBs, all to purge the Orchid debuff, and the timings on these items were so quick that you just had such a small opportunity to kill heroes with Orchid before they could just purge it. The window could be, just a couple of minutes. In 7.23 and 7.25, this window was increased because the cost of Sage's masks were reduced, bringing the cost of Orchid from 4,075 gold to 3,875 gold. Then in 7.27, Orchid's recipe cost was reduced significantly, bringing the item from the original 4,075 gold to 3,575 gold. This change significantly increases the window of opportunity for killing enemy heroes before they get any way to purge Orchid. On top of this, Oblivion Staff was given a +5 damage buff out of nowhere, and now the build up to Orchid is even better, and it was pretty damn good before. Some popular heroes that I'm currently seeing in pro-level pubs to abuse these newfound Orchid buffs are Mid-Natures and Broodmother. On both of these heroes, pros are opting to hard rush the Orchid, even skipping boots, so that way the Orchid comes out so early that even a completely free farm enemy core can't have a way of purging the Orchid. There's just no way you can farm that quickly. It's gotten so bad in pubs that people are instant banning Nature's Prophet, and if it's not banned, it's being instantly block picked and people are just swapping it to any role. Speaking of items, it is of course worth mentioning that Orchid is not the only winner of 7.27. I would say it's probably the best, but there are still other great items out there that you want to abuse. Blade Mail got buffed, for example, and is significantly better than it once was, but instead of picking it up on intelligence heroes for its stats, like people were doing at the end of 7.26, it has moved away from that to the more traditional Blade Mail builders like Axe and Legion Commander. Why is this? Of course, the 20% permanent reflection that you get is a huge buff to the item. It's a deterrent to prevent enemies from ever going on you, especially when it comes to harassing, because you just take so much damage trying to harass somebody with a Blade Mail. It also speeds up your farm because the 20% is going at all times, and it also means that you can re-engage in teamfights when the Blade Mail active is on cooldown. On top of this, Blade Mail was given an armor buff, and also the armor calculation was changed such that Blade Mail will put almost every hero to the new sweet spot of armor, where you get a little bit more percentage physical damage reduction than you did before. Another item that is extremely good in 7.27 is Silver Edge, and this is especially true on heroes that like to build Echo Saber and Shadow Blade before the patch. Why is this true? Because Silver Edge now builds from Echo Saber instead of an Ultimate Orb. And honestly, Ultimate Orb is just one of the most dogshit items in Dota. It's incredibly cost inefficient for the stats that you get from it. And Echo Saber has always been a really efficient item, and even before it built into anything, people would still go for it as an efficiency item. But the problem has always been slot issues, and the fact that it never built into anything. Of course, this is no longer the case, and so now Silver Edge Echo Saber heroes such as Slark and Wraith King are extremely strong. In terms of the other items that were changed in 7.27, to give you a quick summary, Necro was nerfed pretty damn hard, but it's still great on heroes like Lycan and Beastmaster because it does more damage to heroes, and these heroes actually have a way to use the Necro to hit heroes. But it is not in every hero item because it's just not the farming machine that it used to be. It does a lot less damage to creeps. Dominator, however, is no longer a team item, but it instead seems to have replaced the old Necro in terms of being that farming item that you pick up to kill creeps quicker. People are actually building this item on Spectre before Radiance, and she's currently sitting at a 57% pro level pub win rate. That is higher than it's been in years. Drums and Veil seem to have become the new bridge items between the small items like Bracers and big items like BKB, and people are building these on heroes like Doom and Pugna and seeing a lot of success, and even building them on position 5 because they are so damn cheap. Okay, so the next thing that I want to talk about is the types of cores that are currently really good in this patch. The TLDR is that Triangle and Ancient farmers are absolutely back. You want to pick late game heroes, probably even in the offlane. There are a few reasons for this. Reason number 1, your jungle outpost cannot be taken over by the enemy team before they take a tier 2 tower. And in 7.26, tier 2 towers were made to be basically immortal, with higher HP, higher damage, and split shot on fortification. And the reason that this makes farming the triangle easier is because the way that the game would flow in 99% of Dota games is that you take over the enemy jungle well before you can take over the enemy triangle. It is borderline impossible to skip this step because the enemy triangle is so dangerous. So now, because of this outpost, taking the enemy jungle is significantly slower, and therefore it takes many more minutes for the game to progress such that the enemy team is in your triangle, even if they are winning. Reason number 2, Ancients are now back in both triangles, and Ancients are worth a lot more gold and experience than regular neutral creeps. Reason number 3, and I swear to Gaben, this is not a meme, but the Prowler camp being removed actually makes it a lot easier for heroes like Terrorblade, Kunkka, and TA to farm stacks of Ancients without getting destroyed by those purple devils. As an extension of this point that triangle farmers are back, from what I've seen in most high-level pubs, people are picking many cores that can also scale to be a carry. Lots of Lycan offlane, Morphling middle, even supports that can scale to be cores essentially. The game seems to have slowed down immensely, and I think it's mostly because of this outpost change, but there's also a lot more gold on the map, and also there are some really efficient items that are super cheap now, so it's pretty easy to farm even if you're not in a farming position. In other words, no matter what your role is, I would highly recommend picking heroes that can scale. In fact, as lazy as it is to draft and play like this, things seem to be so chaotic right now, and they probably will be until the hero changes come, and then they'll probably get even more chaotic, that it kind of seems like the more scaling cores on one team, the more likely they are to win. The team that has better late game just will win eventually right now. So even if you're an offlaner, a mid, or a support, you can probably get a bunch of free wins by just picking heroes that also double as carries in those positions. I'm not saying don't do your job, but I'm saying pick heroes that do the job and also scale. Anyway, that's it for this video. I do have one more thing to mention before leaving, and it's that the garbage bin hobos have actually went into the local library. They found my YouTube channel, and they are demonetizing every single video where I mention hobos, pizza crusts, or hornets' nests. And so that's a lot of my videos, so I can't monetize on YouTube anymore. If you could help me out by going to my Patreon, I will be posting tier lists of every single role this week for 7.27. So I don't know, maybe you can get some MMR with that. Maybe I can afford to buy a whole pizza or maybe half of one from one of the garbage bin hobos. But either way, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you, and I hope to see you in another video.